Welcome back. Making another video today, following up our yucca crafting videos of the past where we talked about processing yucca leaves into fiber and making cordage. We've also talked about dyeing or coloring the yucca fiber to use for making the cordage. Today we have a really exciting video coming up where I will be taking the yucca fiber and weaving or braiding a Balearic sling. This sling is the old version of the sling shepherds used to use. Making the Balearic sling is going to use minimal tools. For this project, we'll be using the natural yucca fiber color and also using the walnut brown colored fibers, and it'll be a 5-strand braid. Tools, binder clip, fingernail clipper, and a tape measure, and the yucca fiber that's been previously processed. And for more information on the processing of the yucca fiber, look back on the previous videos. There's processing the fiber. There's also how to twist into cordage and dyeing, how to make exciting colors that brighten up the yucca and bring a lot of interest and color to it. So with that, we are going to begin the braiding of first the finger loop. The finger loop is first, and then next will be the retention cord. After the retention cord, we'll braid the knee, which takes the retention cord into 2 separate straps to create the pouch. After the pouch is a belly, and then the final length of cord is the part that's held on to that has the snap or the cracker on the end. And we'll talk more about that as we go through the video. Thank you for joining us, and this is going to be really exciting. Hang on and let's go. And I have already varied the lengths of the fibers in these bundles so that they don't all end at the same time. That way fibers can be added through the weaving process. And this particular weave is going to be a 5-strand braid. So with that, I have a clip that I'm going to use to hold the fibers together, and I'm going to get started on the braiding. This will come together about like so. We're towards the middle of the length of the bundle of fibers. Towards the middle, and intentionally set so that all the ends of the fibers are not ending at the same time, so that new fibers can be added in the weaving process. So the fibers are clipped, and we're going to dampen the fibers to assist in the flexibility as we do the weaving and the braiding of these fibers. And just a quick dampening of the fibers, that's all we're doing. And as we're just starting out, it's a little bit unsettled, like the bundles are not settled into their spot yet. So we're going to get these strands laying down nicely. Get the twists started, just like this. And left is towards, and right is away. And once we've got a handful of twists in there, we can reposition the clip and start braiding what will be the finger loop. And left hand is towards, right is away. By maintaining the tension and keeping the braid nicely woven, or nicely taut, the same tautness on each bundle of fibers, will help to keep the braid as consistent as possible. We're aiming for consistency in the braid and consistency in the thickness of the material as we progress with the braid. So as the thickness seems to decrease, or the new fibers will be added, keep the consistency of the braid. Here we are, twisting towards, pulling it down. There we are. You can see a nice beginning there. Taking the clip off, repositioning it here. And that will be the beginnings of our finger loop on the end of the sling. Right hand side, twisting away, pulling towards. There will be times where the video is either sped up, fast forwarded, or there may be some edits where we simply skip through parts of the twisting process, parts of the braiding, simply to reduce the amount of camera time during the demonstration here. As it is noticeably thinning, I will add some fiber into this left side, which is my working bundle right now. And just going to add in some fiber, about like that. And very simply, just holding the fibers in with the existing fibers. Untwist a little bit, and then twisting in the new fibers and allowing the end of the fiber to simply hang out the end. And as I twist it and pull it into place, straightening these back out again. There we are. Bringing the new fiber with the existing fibers that are added to the new bundle. Bringing that across, twisting away on the right hand side, and twisting towards on the left hand side. And getting out a tape measure, we'll check the length on the finger strap, the finger loop section of braid. So we've got a good full couple inches here. The desirable thing is for the loop to be big enough for the finger to be able to pass through, and as I'm testing it, since I'll be the one using this, I'm going to make the braid a little bit longer. And at this phase, we'll add a bit more of the natural color fiber in with this bundle on the right hand side. And just for ease of being able to handle the fiber, I'm going to add a little bit of water and dampen the fiber, and just a real quick dip in the water. And there it is. And by simply adding the fiber in with the existing fibers, leaving the ends to stick out, and they will be trimmed off later. Right now, it's simply being twisted in exactly the same as the original bundle of fibers would be handled if it was being twisted right there. Consistency of tension and keeping the braid snug and tight as it's being folded is going to help to get the best results. Adding a bit of new fiber in with this current working strand, helping to keep the diameter the similar thickness as the other working strands, which also adds to the length as they're being added through the braiding process, so that there's not running out of fiber without all the ends being the same length, which is important, so that there's room to be able to add new fibers in the twisting process. Here we see we're coming up on the end, and as the fibers get thinner, adding new lengths is going to extend the whole bundle. And doing another test for finger size, checking this, we're getting close. And what I will do at this point, as we're close, I'm going to switch the clip to the opposite end, or to what was the working end, and now going to do a little bit of untwisting and rework the braid so that both ends of the finger loop are working ends. And turn the whole thing over so that the direction of twisting remains the same. The direction of the twists are still twisting away on the right, pulling it down and towards, and twisting towards on the left, twisting it towards and pulling it down to the center like so. And that matches the same pattern that we've been doing, and doing the same pattern on both ends. It may require turning the braid over as you switch from one end to the other end, and that is working for me at this point. I'm doing another dip in the water just to help keep the fibers flexible. And dipping in the water also helps to keep the bundles of fibers a little more manageable, a little less scattered. Helps keep them kind of pressed together, which is nice. There we are, keeping the braid tightened nicely and keeping the twist nice and tight, and little tug with each fold. The finger loop, we're just to the point where I'm happy with the length of the loop for being able to allow the joint or the knuckle of the finger to pass through, even when the knuckle's bent slightly. So at that point, ready to join where the two ends of the braid will meet together. So for that, the clip will be removed, and we now have both ends that are open. And these are not matched up yet that I realize, so we're going to double check them. What I see is that the folded strands coming across make the working strand for this one on what I'm going to call the lower side, be the working strand. And it is a brown walnut, and the most recently folded strand was a natural strand. So we'll turn this over and check this side. We're going to bring them together. And as we're doing that, we're going to match up the next strands. So active strand and active strand here. We have a strand here and a strand here that we will match together. And then we have a strand here and a strand here that appear to be facing the same direction, and we could say are pairs. Next, we'll pair the remaining two of the black walnut strands and pair the remaining two natural strands. And with that, as we tighten and bring these together, we should be able to create a new set of bundles with groups of strands that match up. And as we do that, just providing a little bit of tension and pulling to bring those two joints, or two sides of the loop, bring those two sides together more tightly together. And once they're twisted together, hopefully keeping them from coming back apart, we'll see how that goes. And our thickness of a bundle is now double. Instead of it being just over a 1/16 of an inch, now it's more than 1/8 of an inch, probably 3/16, which that's where we're at. We're next doing the length of the sling, having completed the finger loop. Having combined all of the working strand bundles, we're now ready to start weaving them or twisting them into a new 5-strand braid. It appears that we are back on pattern. To go from joining all the fibers together may take a bit of time and practice, a bit of experience to get a feel for how those 5 strands that are on two different braids joined together and then are able to continue on in a braid that makes sense. May back up just a little bit here because it's not feeling organized. One of the things that stands out to me right now is the value in being able to get the union of the two braids, getting those to sit together nicely so that there's no gaps, and so that it's as if it were all one braid. That's the goal.